Okay, we are back with part 4 of the Mojave Invite match play portion. This time I'm only going to focus on one match, and that is the winner's bracket match of Cortez Shank and Ben Canfield. I personally feel like my coverage has dropped off the longer the video has gone on, because it's kind of tough to cover a couple matches at once. So I'm going to focus on one this time, and it is, as I said, 16 seed Cortez Shank against 12 seed Ben Canfield. Cortez with the 7 spare in the first, and Ben with that strike in the first. Looking for another one. Pretty good shot. Lucky to only leave the 4-7, but if you saw part 3, Canfield was against A-Cuff and really had some pretty fortunate carry towards the end of the match, but I don't think it was a byproduct of poor shot making and getting lucky. I really thought he made some quality shots down the end, and wow, sorry, the camera was way off there, but I really thought he made some quality shots down the stretch of that game, and his ball just kind of picked up speed, it seemed like, as it went down lane. So comes down here, chops a 4-7. Not something you want to do against Shank, who's been bowling really well after that rough start to qualifying. But here is a familiar player with familiar form for those of you that watch all the videos. Cortez Shank, that looked a little left, and it was. Leaves the 6-10. The scratch division just flipped sides of the bowling alley with the handicap division. So probably take these guys a couple frames. As I look down the bowling center, I only see 2 strikes in about 10 frames from the scratch division. So as they make the turn, it's going to be a little different. Hey, did you win? So whoever can figure it out fastest making this switch should benefit greatly. There's a pretty good shot by Cortez. Looks like he moved left. Trips the 8-pin forward, but that looked like a lot better shot. Not sure why that didn't come up, but we'll see as this match goes on. So Shank with that strike has 38 in the second with a strike in the third. Canfield with 28 in the second frame, working on an open. So Ben with an early 10-pin deficit. Ben, bowler for Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona. Somebody that pretty good shot right there. Somebody that I've bowled against a lot over the years. One of my good friends. So it's good to see the changes Ben has made to his game over the years. I remember when he first came out here 3 or 4 years ago, he was somebody who was really adept at playing the track, but when he was forced to move away from it, he kind of struggled, and you can see how much his hard work has paid off. I know he works harder than just about anybody I know. So shout out to Jordan Asberg, Michael Haugen, those guys over there at Arizona State, for the work they've done with Ben, and to Ben himself. I mean, I know Ben was a former athlete himself in high school. I know he played basketball, and I've had a lot of talks with him about how aspects from other sports can transfer over to bowling in the form of the mental side, and Ben is someone that I really think has more of a stronger mental game and preparation, I guess, attitude, for lack of a better word for it, than actual physical game himself. And that's not a knock on his physical game at all. I just think he really knows how to prepare himself and keep himself in the moment, and that's why he's usually pretty good every tournament he bowls. That was a great shot by Cortez. Wow. And it still doesn't come up as much as he'd like, but man, as far as repetition, those 2 shots look pretty similar from where I'm standing. So Shank with the double strike here would put him up by 20. and he's really been rolling since about game 3 in qualifying. I think he was about, I know he started with a pretty good shot again. He got around that one a little more. I think he's throwing the Storm IQ Tour. One of my personal favorites. If you're a bowler who is into tournament bowling on sport conditions, even house conditions really, look into an IQ Tour. I know a lot of people out here use that ball. Pretty smooth. Reminds me a lot of that original Game Breaker, probably a little cleaner and a little more continuous, but you know, I have no affiliation with Storm, but that IQ Tour is pretty good. And that's just my opinion, not the opinions of JBT or Jeff or anything, so take it for what it's worth. But Shank spares up the 7-pin and holds a 20-pin lead going into the 5th frame. So Canfield needs to find a couple strikes here. Looks like a pretty good shot. Wow. Leaves a 2.78, I believe. Yeah, and if you watch part 3 of this match play when Canfield was bowling A-cuff, you saw his ball kind of labor a little bit down lane, and I don't necessarily think the ball is laboring. I just think there's so much oil pushed down there that I mean, like Meyer said in part 1 of the video, that he was experiencing a lot of hook in the front of the lane and a lot of push down the lane. So Canfield, as someone who is a little more behind the ball, I'd say, his ball doesn't change direction too much. It'll be interesting to see how he works to get through that carry down the lane, because I was watching a couple guys yesterday. That was a pretty good shot. He got around that a lot more. Still doesn't come up as much, but comes up enough. I was watching Kyle King yesterday, and Kyle is obviously not only one of the most talented physical bowlers out here, but one of the smartest. I mean, he's got countless titles, and he was employing a lot of side roll yesterday, probably more so than I've ever seen, just to get his ball to store energy to read the back ends down here and actually make a move. As you see Shank miss right away, and that ball just has no chance on the long pattern. But so Shank with the 1-2-8. He missed this tournament, or he missed a spare last weekend in the Baker tournament to knock our team out. So Tez, that's all your fault. I'll never forgive you. But no, really, just giving him a little hard time. Pretty tricky spare. Covers it fine. 104 through 5 with a spare in the 6th. Canfield was 74 through 5 and a strike in the 6th. So Canfield trails by 30 pins now. And he's going to need to put a couple strikes together off this strike he has right now to get back in this match. As long as Shank stays clean, he should be able to stay relatively in control of this match. So looks pretty good. Maybe a little farther in than his last couple shots, and it reads nicely. So I'm not sure if he moved left and tightened up, or just missed left. My guess is he moved left and tightened up. Keep that ball a little closer to the head pin and let it read the tight back ends, and it looks pretty good to me. This is probably the shot of the match right here to this point. As I said, Canfield trailing by 30, needs to put a little run together. Looks pretty good, tighter. Wow, very good shot there by Canfield. Now he needs to do it again. So it looks like both bowlers tightened up a little bit, kept the ball closer to the head pin down lane. It seems like they've moved far enough left to get away from that early hook, and pretty good ball reaction for both bowlers. So it comes down to execution now. So come back for part 5 of the Mojave match play and the conclusion of this match.